I'm going to share this. National Centre for Business and Sustainability, started by a bank, somewhat oddly, but it's a cooperative bank, so if you know anything about their belief that you can actually make money and run an ethical business, you'll start to understand where we're coming from. They got together with all the academic institutions in the Greater Manchester area and formed us an independent advisory service for any organisation that we could really get hold of and sit down for any length of time to say, yeah, it is possible not to override the earth or exploit people and make a living doing it. So that's what we do. Small companies, so defined as technically 250 employees or less. Great majority of businesses are small businesses. The great majority of small businesses are very small businesses. So it's important to remember that one. It's a statistic that I would like to hang on to. It's a little old now, but the OECD said that although small companies are thought of as minimal impact organisations, but they are individually, they account for 70% of the environmental impact in any one country. So that's a surprise for some people, but if you think sheer weight of numbers, that does actually make sense. Almost all companies are small companies. Okay, so why aren't we doing more for them? Well, many people are, and you'll hear quite a lot about that in today's session. But traditionally, they're very hard to reach. There's so many of them, and they don't exactly put their hands up automatically and say, please help me. They also come under the regulatory net when you're thinking about environmental protection in particular. Although it was very interesting for me to see that the I remember on our panel did a survey, and it showed that something like 25 to 30% of SMEs that were paying the climate change levy didn't actually realise they were paying the climate change levy, and very few of those were actually doing anything about paying less. So we've heard all about why that might be the case, and we're going to hear more soon. Our organisation, two things that you might be interested in. One is called Responsibility Northwest and Northwest of England. It's helping small companies to adopt a responsible business agenda. So that's environment and social agenda. And the second thing we're doing, amongst many, many others, is we're doing a climate change and ethically owned business initiative. And that all started because we gave a talk to an Ethnic Minority Business Association in Rochdale, and we were just flooded with people saying, thank God for you, because every time we get somebody to talk to us, it's always about bloody race and ethnicity. And about time, we started talking about stuff that everybody else that we'd be interested in, and they're very enthusiastic people. So, just a couple of those things. I'm going to get right on with introducing Paul Hagney. Paul's our Operations Director of Patchking, and he's going to tell us about how the company implemented their action plan. Paul's a chemistry graduate. He's a veteran in the food industry. He's worked with a string of household names, Geese, Northern Foods, Oscar Mayer, and in 2006 he co-led the management buyout of Patchking. So I'm going to ask Paul to tell us about what he did, and then we'll get on with the panel and your questions. Paul Hagney.
Interesting in being comments about ethnic minorities. Me and Robbie do this in depth. Thank you for giving us the opportunity to talk about our case study. Firstly, I'll go through who we are and what we do. And building on really the previous two presentations, as this is a great opportunity, we're pleased to know it is very short. Then I'll go through something about our case study, and then we'll conclude. Patchking is a relatively new company, founded in 1994, following an original meeting on a golf course when our previous chairman had left to travel Europe as secretary. That's what you got something about involved in that at all.
Which bunker was it in?
Which?
Bunker was it in the conversation?
We bought the business, myself and Sue Dover bought the business almost a year ago today. We have 1,600 customers, 13.5 million meals. We service canteens with pasta bars and pasta meals. We started off as a very small SME, but the business has tripled in turnover over the last 3 years. The business is highly transactional, over 30,000 transactions a year, and is very capital intensive. The man on the screen has obviously helped us to develop that business. As I said, the concept that we have is unique. It means that you can have a hot, fresh, healthy pasta meal served quickly and that the caterer can make a good GP. Heads up our businesses in the education sector, and where Jeremy got let down was making the food too complicated, where our food is very fast, very simple, and we've grown not only through Jeremy, obviously there's been legislation in school food, and also we do a lot of MPD work, and we get children, we get our customers to eat vegetables by hiding them in our sauces. But before I begin, again, just re-emphasising some of the things you already heard today. There's a lot of stuff out there. We've had a very interesting discussion about this, and we'll hopefully come up in the debate about how we can best get the money that the government's put aside into real on-the-ground action. This pounds per tonne of CO2. I think that's a very interesting performance indicator. Business link was my first point of call. As you've heard from the other guys, you can get advice, you can get free audits. It's not always easy. I know what's been said before, but it's not always easy to access it. Business link was good for me because they opened up everything else. And with Business Link, we founded a profit through waste minimisation group where a group of local companies get together. We meet probably every 2 months and we talk about what's happening in our business, and we have guest speakers. And we look at what one company's waste rate, where it might be applicable to somebody else to take that on as a raw material. A bit more of that in a moment. I began passing in March 2004, and at the time we were importing to this country from Spain a specifically, uniquely blended tomato base on which our pasta sauces are made. They came in 3 kilo tins, imagine a 9-inch by 6-inch round catering tin. Across from Spain in trunkers, 16.5 tons. In January 2005, I re-engineered the process using the resources we saw earlier to help me plan it and help me stage it. And again, the important point was that Dave raised before that, using the team, getting everybody bought into the concept. January 2005, we started by getting 195 kilo drums, 20 ton delivery, and we had 9 deliveries from Spain in the first year, which was fantastic. But there's more to it than that. When you look at what was really happening in our business at that point, we had 217,000 tins in 2004. We were putting 59 tonnes of steel into landfill. The problem that we've got a tin full of sauce. When you empty that sauce, to use the sauce to make to further process it, you've got a dirty tin. Nobody would take that tin dirty to reprocess. It wasn't economical for a small business when I only have less than a dozen people making the product to wash the tins out and get them recycled. So we were really in a better state. Not only that, there were 37 tonnes of sauce going into that in the tin. 2005, by changing the delivery method, we saved 54 tonnes of steel, and proportionately more in 2006 as our business has continued to grow. This is one of the KPIs, and it really shows the impact